Hey everybody, welcome back to the Red Road Paranormal Podcast. I don't know why that's not coming out right today, but it's all good. We're here. We're live. Rez is laughing at me. It's okay. All right. So
Laughing
again,
with you, dear. Laughing
mm,
with you.
you know what? You just go right ahead because yeah, it's totally worth doing here. Um, anyway, I am a psychic medium and a paranormal investigator with Adirondack Park Paranormal Society and of Alaskan heritage, but no tribal affiliation. And today we are going to be talking with Brandon, but first I would like to bring in my cohort in crime, Rez.
Hi, everyone. Resnick here, enrolled member of Stockbridge Muncie Tribe, Band of Mohicans, paranormal investigator, cryptid investigator with Cryptids Anomaly in the Paranormal Society. And today we have Mr. Cooper here with us today. We're hanging with Mr. Cooper. All right. Take it
Woohoo!
away, Brandon.
I wish that show would have lasted more than 2 seasons.
Right?
The whole hanging with Mr. Cooper, but I love it. I love it. Hey, everybody,
Hey,
how is it?
good.
It's going just
Yeah.
amazing.
That's of course you are. By the way, Reds, I saw that tattoo, man. That was nice. That was good work.
Thank
Good
you.
work.
Thank you.
Good work. Okay.
Wow. My computer here is just blowing up with messages from God only knows where. All right.
Tell them
So
you're busy.
Yeah, we can't
that's
talk.
what I'm doing. I'm putting it in my phone. Stop. All right.
So,
Go ahead.
this is an interesting topic that I've actually been looking forward to talking to you about. I heard you speak on it on one of your shows.
Yeah.
Is the little people.
Yes.
So,
That's quite a fun topic too. Just uh I don't even know where to begin with them, but there's so many different stories. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun topic. So I'm looking forward to diving into that.
okay,
Awesome.
well, why don't you go ahead and kick her off then? Tell me what you know.
All right, so we're talking the little people, and of course, I'm just gonna speak on uh the Cherokee take on little people because each tribe, I mean, they have a little slightly different take on the little people. It's not very different, but as far as Cherokee go, I mean, there's three tribes of little people. You've got the Rock people, you have the Laurel people, and then the Dogwood people. In the At least in the Cherokee lexicon, the Rock people are the ones that are, I guess, most nefarious. They're the ones that steal the kids and just cause general mayhem. The Laurel people are the ones that like to laugh. Like if you see a baby sleeping and they're laughing in their sleep, it's probably the Laurel people because they like that. They love to laugh and they love to spread joy. And then the Dogwoods are basically the helpers. They'll kill you too. All three of them will kill you, but they just and they just have different uh, style demeanors. The Rock people, the reason they are the way they are is because their territory's already been encroached. People have, been in their caves and stuff like that. So that causes them to be the way they are. Little people just basically want to get left alone. They'll help you, but don't go outside and look. Like the Dogwood people, for instance, have been known to come down and then you'll hear them outside your house. Don't go outside because if you go outside, they'll kill you. They don't want you to see them. But if you leave them alone, like the next morning, like all the corn will be brought in bundles and placed nice. Your entire land will get plowed for you because they love to help other people. So that's a little breakdown on the three different little people
Those
way
are
that
some
we.
those are some pretty extreme uh well, you're either going to have your corn brought in for you or you're going to die. Like there's no in between.
No, no, and even though they're only like 2 to 4 feet tall, they like their privacy. So Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
I wasn't prepared to hear that. I'm sorry.
yeah, most people aren't.
That's a lot.
Yep. I know I was doing a little research on my own about this and came across someone talking about it. And they're like, if you see them, don't scare them because they will mess with you there. Just let them do their thing, be quiet, let them finish what they're doing, and they'll go off do their own thing and leave them alone. And average report's about 2 feet tall, you know. And I think the one report was saying how they're out picking sweetgrass and they're taking handful bundles of it and going off to do their thing. And these people that are going in to do the same thing, seen them, and the elder says, "Stop, be quiet, don't move," and they'll leave us alone.
Uh, yeah, and a lot of reports, like especially the Laurel people and the Dogwood people, like if you accidentally like if you so they like playing drums. If they're not out working or doing something, they love to dance and play drums and stuff. And I mean, you'll hear the drums in the woods, but do not follow. There's stories of if you follow the drums and you go to their house, well, they don't like being bothered where they live, so they will put a spell on you to lose your way in the woods. And even if you happen to make it back to your land, you're still going to be screwed up for the rest of your life. So yeah, I mean, they do. You leave them alone, and or give them a little gift or something, and we can talk about gifts later. There's certain things they like. But, yeah, yeah. You just leave them alone. They'll do their thing, and then you're good. If you get in there messing with them, especially without asking permission, then yeah,
Again, those extremes. Like they're not
yes,
just going to mess you up for a day. They're going to just mess you up for your whole life.
yes. And I don't know honestly that they really know any better. They're just that
Okay.
powerful.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
but I don't know because I've never walked up to their house because I know better.
Yeah.
So I've never chatted with the guys and girls.
Right.
But there's another thing too that a lot of people don't know. They just talk little people and their height, but little people are white, they're black, and they're golden. So
Hmm.
they've got different skin tone. At least in Cherokee, they're golden because we're golden.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I know the little bit that I have heard about little people, and it's usually in information that comes through like when I'm at an event, a camp out, something like that, is leave them sweets and shiny things. They like sweets and shiny things.
Yep.
And um yeah, but they'll also be tricksters. Like if you have little people in your house, you're going to have stuff come up missing. And it's not going to be like somebody stole my TV. It's going to be like where are my car keys?
Yeah, and that's probably if they're doing that, that's probably the Laurel people because they love playing little tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband
Little
once found his
tricksters.
car
Mm-hmm.
keys in the bathroom sink. And then he he yelled at me about putting his car keys in the sink. I'm like, "Why?
Right.
Why would I put your car keys in the bathroom sink? That doesn't even make sense."
Well, probably the same reason why yesterday I put my cell phone in the refrigerator.
That could be.
I don't know. Yeah.
I promise you, I did not put his car keys in the sink.
Yeah. I didn't put my cell phone in the refrigerator either. But no, they'll do that. They will. They'll get the little annoying stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want to like really ruin your day. They try to give you like that little giggle.
Okay.
So yeah. And they'll kill you. Just
And
not
they'll kill
sure
you.
that. And they'll kill you.
They
Yeah.
don't really want to upset you or anything, but they'll kill you.
Right. They'll kill you. Just throwing
Yeah.
that out there.
Just don't cross the line. That's all.
Right. Just main respect. And a lot of people say that they are spirits that were put on this planet to teach us how to live. And you know, a lot of the stories that are handed down about little people have that moral to the story is boundaries. It's always about boundaries. Like it teaches you to set up your own boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. So you know, that's that's what I get from the whole little people stories. Just you do you, you let them do them. If they want to talk to you, they'll come to you.
Okay, so that
Mhm.
starts another question. Like, what would they want to talk to us about?
It would only be in um like they would only probably see. I don't know that, so now I'm gonna have to just sort of go on, all of the knowledge that I've got and
Yeah.
come up with something. But generally, it would be to like avoid huge loss of life or disasters,
Okay. So like
or
warnings or
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
warnings, or like let's say the farmer of the tribe, they're not doing very good and the land's not producing and people are going to die. Well, they may come and say, hey, you need to plant over here, and
Okay.
stuff like that. They mean well, they just like to be left alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories of them being the protectors of the woods,
Yep.
you know, and that's their whole purpose is to protect the woodlands, keep everything that's in the woods safe, and keep others out.
Yep. Yeah, if you're not supposed to be there, they will try to keep you out. And another thing, like if you're walking through the woods and you find like a knife or I don't know, something laying on the ground, don't just pick it up, take it, because it could belong to the little people. I was always told, you just say out loud, little people, I would like to take this. Can I have it? And obviously you're not going to hear anything, but then you can take it. They don't care because you were polite. You asked. But if you just take it, then it's fair game for the little people. So yeah, the woods is there. That's their area.
So would that also be like a tree dryad or like a I can't think of the word now. Um like a tree sprite, would that also be little people or is that something different?
That's completely different.
Okay.
Yeah, those are that's a different genre of tree spirit.
Okay.
Because like the tree sprites are teeny, teeny, tiny.
Mhm.
Um, and so they just sort of do their own thing. I'm not very familiar with the sprites, but from what I do know, they just sort of do their own little thing. But they're different genre of, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it cryptid or what, but yeah, they're two separate.
Supernatural beings.
There we go. Yep, sure.
Yep. Okay.
Supernatural. Yep.
I was just going to ask what that category would be. Supernatural beings. That works.
Yes. Because
That works.
and now that I think about it, I guess they would not, sprites would not fall under cryptid. However, I think little people might come under that umbrella a little
I
bit
was just going to ask. Yeah.
because they're solid beings, and so I mean, could you put it under fringe cryptozoology? Sure, I think.
Has
Yeah.
have you ever seen one?
Yes.
Can you describe it?
Well, it's usually like just if you see them in the forest, it's a lot of light in the forest. It's not like a lightning bug or firefly or anything, but there's just like the forest lights up at night. Um, and so you know they're there. And I've caught a glimpse of one in the woods, um, because I was young and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But they're there. They have hair almost down to the ground. Um, and they're like beautiful creatures. They're very handsome, very beautiful. So, I mean, we see them all the time if you just know where to look. Like they'll show you, they're doing their party in the woods. They light it up. Uh, as a matter of fact, I had a guy at my Paracon last year, and we were up in the woods, and he freaked out because the woods just lit up, and he'd never seen anything like it. I'm like, "Welcome to the little people." So I gave him some M&Ms, and I said, "Go put those in the woods." And he just looked at me weird. I'm like, dude, go put him in the woods. I really don't want to die. So he put him in the woods, and like you can hear the footsteps coming up to the M&Ms where he laid them, and they kind of went on about their business. So they do love sweets and shiny. That's why I use peanut M&Ms, because it's chocolate, peanut, and it's got the shiny shell, so it covers all.
There you go.
Oh,
Life saved by M&Ms,
who knew?
Right.
Yeah,
right?
So I was told to give them tobacco or shiny things.
yeah, and I mean you can. Obviously, you and I both know tobacco goes great with
Right.
anything.
Mhm.
Yep.
But and they do like shiny things like nice copper pennies or coins. They really like because they'll start leaving them. If you leave them coins, they'll start leaving you coins. But as far as shiny, there's another thing that I've used that they seem to like, especially around like Easter, because the Cadbury eggs come
Mhm.
out with the real shiny tinfoil. Yeah, they like those too.
I
Nice.
have to remember that one.
Yep. Yep. I didn't think about it. I just happened to run in to a place where I knew that there were little people around. I didn't have anything, but I had some Cadbury eggs. Selling out. I went on my merry way with no interruption, which meant that they probably like.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yep.
I know I was out in the woods one time with my team, and they were talking about like the fairy folk and all that, and how they like shiny things too and sweets. And
Yep.
well, I didn't have any sweets with me, but I had a shiny dollar coin, one of the gold coins.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I left one of them and left some tobacco behind, along our hike. And probably about half hour later, started experiencing some weird things, but which I can't talk too much about. It should be on an episode coming out next year, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just unique where when after I had gifted it, then it really kind of things started ramping up. I
Yep.
was like, well, you came here for an experience, we're going to give you one
Right.
type of
And
thing.
I think that they know they have telepathy. I think they can either read your mind or eh, read your intentions at least. So that would make sense. Like if you're going out there for a paranormal uh journey, they know what's up. You followed the rules. You gave them tobacco and you gave them shiny things, and they're like, okay, all right, cool. We will
Then
show them what they came to see.
You know,
awesome. That's awesome. I guess I really hadn't thought much about little people except in the context of them being in your home and moving stuff around.
And,
So,
and see, we don't
yeah.
believe that they enter your home.
Okay.
That could be a house fairy or something in your house. But with boundaries, they don't want you
Mhm.
coming to their house. They're not going to come inside yours.
Right.
In my personal opinion. Um, that's why with the story, don't go outside if you hear a bunch of them talking and working. They're not going to come in your house. Don't come bother them. They're there to do you a favor.
Right.
But you know, could it be a little person? Maybe they have their own personalities and stuff. Could one sneak in a house? Sure, especially from the Laurel people.
yeah.
Right. Right.
If they're attracted to you and you're interested by you, who knows? And if you give them a warm welcome, saying, hey, this is a okay place, a safe spot, whatever you want to classify it as, they might cross that bridge and come on in.
Yeah, they've even fought beside. Again, all I know is the Cherokee lore, but they fought beside us in our wars. They came out of a rock, which is up in North Carolina, and that was the first time we'd ever met the little people. We were in a battle, and they came out, and they're ruthless little guys, and they're very powerful, but only when provoked. So
No,
Yeah.
do not provoke the little people.
let's not do that. Let's
Yeah,
not.
let's
No.
not do that. I do want to just, for the sake of our listeners, make a distinction between The little people that we're talking about in Native American lore and the fact that dwarves are often called little people, not the same thing.
Oh yeah, totally not. Yeah,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just want to make that distinction. I mean, I have friends who are little people, as in they are dwarves. And so, I just want to make that distinction for our listeners, just so they
Yeah.
know we actually know what we're talking about.
I didn't think about that, but that was a
Yeah,
good plug in there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. We're talking about non-human entities.
right.
Yeah,
Non-human entities that we are referring to as people, but they are not human people.
we're
They are their
right.
own, I don't know, species, category. I'm not sure what word to use, but
All of the above.
right.
They're their own beings.
They are their own
Yes.
beings, yes.
Yep.
So I just wanted to be sure that we were clear about that so that we weren't confusing anybody who might be listening in or someone who is a human little person going, the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, like how? Oh, can you imagine like a little person or a dwarf like tuning in midways and going, "I don't want to kill people.
Right?
Right?
It's not or like I
No,
like shiny
no.
things, but I'm not going to go plow your garden." No, we're talking about spirits.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
go
I
buy
get it.
my own shiny things. Thank you very much.
Right. I work for a living. I don't need your stupid Cadbury egg. Yeah, that's why we're not talking about you.
That's
We're talking
exactly
about the
right.
spirits.
We're talking about a
Yeah.
spirit entity here, but we had not clarified that to begin with.
It's true. Yeah, good
So
call. Good call.
I do want to make that very clear. And also, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, please, please, please subscribe, hit that bell, hit the like button. Let's support education in Native American history and lore. It's just so important and so skipped over for the last 200 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure that we are supporting that. And thank you for doing that, for subscribing, hitting the bell, and liking us. There's my
So,
plug.
I like it. I like it.
yeah. Now, here's a question for you. Now, in other cultures, they have like gnomes. Now, would that be like a distant relative to what we call little people, do you think?
I don't think so. I think the gnomes fall under the fairy and fae category.
Okay.
Okay.
Just personal opinion. I think wholeheartedly that little people are their own standalone entity. I don't know that they really have cousins or relations like anything close. I think that they just are.
They're just there.
Yeah, yeah. There's no explanation. Well, other than they came out of Iraq to help us fight. That's the closest thing to explanation I found of where they came from and what their purpose was. So yeah, I don't think they live in mushroom circles, like fairies. Now that's another thing. Don't step in those either. Like leave the
No.
damn fairies alone too.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
And if you
Yeah.
have to walk through their circle, ask permission.
Yep. Or
Ask
sprinkle
permission.
like I sprinkle a little tobacco. If I have no other way to go but through, I'll
Mm-hmm.
sprinkle something. But yeah, I think, the little people, they're happy in the woods and in the trees and the caves. And then, the fae are just wherever they want to be.
Right. And
So
the Fae alone, I mean, how many categories of Fae are there? I
yeah,
don't even
that's
know. It's a
mm,
lot.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that they're the same in any way. I think that they probably coexist pretty
I would
decent.
imagine.
I mean, they're all wood protection spirits and things, but
Right.
I just don't think that they're related to the Fae.
Yeah, wood and water protecting the woods and the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, I mean, I'm asking, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but are there specific areas, like do they protect rivers? Do they protect lakes? Are there ocean little people? Are there
I mean, I don't know. I do know that our tribe went from the mountains to the ocean. Um, here in South Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina. So I would assume that there's some sort of ocean one, but I've only ever heard of the three: the rock people, the laurel, and the dogwood. So I don't know, but I mean, is that where they hand over the protections to the Fae? If do they just are they here just to do their certain things, and then the Fae do the water and whatever? I don't know, but I've never heard of ocean little people.
Okay. Well, I was
Doesn't
just,
Yeah,
mean
well,
yeah,
yeah, that doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm just one person, but
right.
I've never heard, so I can't really. What do you think, Rez?
see, I've only heard of them by being out in the woods,
Yep.
and up here, you don't talk about the little people most times.
Mhm.
You just, they're there. That's it. You're done. Don't say nothing more,
Yep.
and don't talk about them when you're in the woods either.
No,
It's
no.
kind of the way it is. Where I'm the type of person where I want them interactions. So I call out to everyone when I'm out in the woods. You want to come interact with me, as long as you want to be peaceful and be cool, I'm cool with you. It doesn't matter if it's a Bigfoot, a bear, a freaking little person.
Right.
I'm down with any interaction as long as it's a peaceful and we can get something from that interaction together.
Yep. And a lot of the medicine men uh had personal relationships with the little people. And I'll tell you, because you're talking about you anytime you go in the woods, you call out to everybody. That's one way that I think to build a rapport with the little people is you continue going to the same place over and over and over until they can see that you really mean what you say. I just want to talk or need some help or whatever, and they'll help you when they if after they get to know you. And I think the same goes for the hairy man, like because you've heard of generations of people on the same piece of property, and they have generational Sasquatch that live there and with them. So I think that's a really good way going in the woods, just saying, hey, whoever, whatever wants to come up. And if you do it long enough, I guarantee you'll probably at least get a glimpse or hear the drums or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I believe so. You're putting that intention out there, and when you put that intention out there with a pure heart, a loving heart,
Yep.
it comes back.
Oh, it does. It
You
definitely
know,
does.
there might be some other things out there that might want to test that, but that's where you gotta draw your line and, like you said, your boundaries.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It definitely
And
goes both ways, for sure.
100%. I mean, there's the old saying here in the Appalachian Mountains, like, what do you do when you hear your name called in the mountains? Nothing. You didn't hear
You know,
it. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke, but it ain't no joke around, like the woods. And most people go in the woods with really good intentions. Let's go camping, let's go grounding, let's go whatever. But you've also got to think through the thousands of years that they've been around or whatever. The woods were also very nefarious. Like, let's go bury this body in the woods, or let's go kill this dude in the woods, or whatever. So, you
mhm.
know, who knows what they've seen throughout you know, their time. So I would be standoffish about humans. If you just look at what humans, we're the worst species on the planet.
We really are.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
can agree with that.
yeah, we are the
Yeah.
disease of this planet. Um, Not everybody, no, obviously not the people here on this panel, or
Right.
people that enjoy the woods, but there's also that debauchery and nastiness that goes on the woods. So no wonder they would want to watch out for you or keep their boundary. And what led them to kill? Was it the the fear of the humans got so bad that they're like, look, we just need to kill them. If they find us, we just kill
All
It
right.
could be.
them. And
Yeah.
I know that took a dark turn, but I mean, we've got to look from their perspective the best that we possibly can. So
Yeah. Was it for
yeah,
their own self-preservation?
right.
Because if you look at, humanity, as far as I know, we're the only species that kills for fun.
Yeah.
That's it. And that explains a lot why some of these entities out there don't like us, because it's not pure of heart. You're not taking care of your brother. You're actually harming your brother. You're harming Mother Earth and
Yep.
all the things that are important.
Yeah. And I think that they are here on this planet also to teach us how to get back to those places. But we're also such a hard-headed species that sometimes they just got to do what they got to do, because that's their ultimate goal. Like, and you said, we're the only ones that kill for sport. Uh, we're also the only ones that gang up together. Like, you don't see a gang of deer going after a hunter, because they would.
I'd pay to see that.
I mean,
I would too.
I would love it.
I would too. I mean, I'm
But
not a violent person, but yeah, I would
yeah,
definitely.
but
I
I mean,
can't. Yeah, it's not a
yeah,
sport unless whatever you're
ex-
hunting can shoot back at you. So
right. But it's just all of the every other creature on this planet goes by the original design, and they do what they got to do. They know the deal. Like, if you see a squirrel just walking, he's not wandering. He's going somewhere. They have something to do.
Yeah,
Whereas we, in our infinite wisdom in making ourselves comfortable, have absolutely nothing to do. And a bored human is a dangerous.
agreed.
idle
Agreed.
hands.
Yep, 100%.
Yep. Idle hands and idle minds.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it. Whew. I personally love to go out in the woods. I was raised in the woods. I love to go out in the woods and just sit
Oh yeah, yep,
and just listen and meditate. Close my eyes, maybe. And there have been times when I've gone out into nature and I've been meditating and I open my eyes and there's a squirrel sitting in front of me or a deer over here or what.
yep,
Because if you're quiet and you're peaceful, you just send out a vibe of you're safe. You're
yep,
safe. It's safe to be near me. And I'm
Yep.
leery of that because there are a lot of humans who are not safe. And I don't want animals or little people or whatever to get used to the idea that humans are safe.
I don't know that they ever will.
I don't think so
They're
either.
too smart.
Yeah.
They're
I think they look at it as like a per case basis. They
Mhm.
look at each individual on their own basis, and they make their own judgments by that. I know when I first moved up to the reservation, I heard about a young lady that when she was a child got lost in the woods, and they spent hours looking for her. When they found her, they were like, well, why are you sitting here? What's going on? Blah, blah. And she claimed the little people, found her, sat her down there, and kept her company until, her parents could find her. You know, so by looking at that, there's got to be some good in them, and they got to be able to read people on whether they're good or not either.
Yep,
Because
Hmm.
if she was causing a threat to them, I'm sure they wouldn't have sat around and hung out with her and kept her safe.
exactly. I think I've heard that story. That sounds so familiar.
It does to me too. Yeah, it sounds familiar to me too.
Yep, that took place up here on the Stockbridge Reservation many, 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 many moons ago.
I don't know. It just rings that bell. Like, I've heard something similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's happened other places.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
You
And I
know,
mean,
yeah.
that we have a story about Forever Boy. Basically, it's God, why do us natives, man? Why are our stories like 45 minutes long? Yeah, like
yeah,
I'm trying to like see if I can edit the story of Forever Boy, but I can't. So type in Google Forever Boy Cherokee, and then you can read about it. But it's basically a boy that never wanted to grow up, so they started calling him Forever Boy. He got so sad when his father finally was going to send him to his uncle to learn how to be a man. He went out in the woods, blah blah blah, and the little people found him and invited him in, and he never grew old again.
Nice.
Sounds a lot like Peter Pan.
I'm missing
Right?
so many details in there
Yeah.
because it's like a 45-minute damn story. But and there's plenty of stories of them helping children. Again, if any of the listeners want to see the story, it's Forever Boy, Cherokee Legend. I guess you can just type that in Google and
I'm writing that down now.
yeah, it's a pretty good story. But basically, it's all about there's some boundary morals in there. Like they set a vision. The little people talked to the creator and had a vision sent to their parents that Forever Boy was safe, to make sure that they knew Forever Boy was safe. And yeah, so it's a good story, but it's just too damn long.
There's a reason that every tribe has storytellers, because it's their job to tell the stories in a way that make an impact. And it would be very difficult to make an impact in 2 or 3 minute story.
Yeah. It's and if we had time, I'd tell the whole story, and I would tell a bunch of different stories.
Yeah.
But
well, we could always have you come back for being a storyteller for us.
You know what? That might be kind of fun because I don't get to tell the old stories like you have your go-to, and any native does this Cherokee story, but it's the two wolves inside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody.
Which one you're going to feed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that's one of the shortest native stories I've ever heard. It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I do love the storytelling, but you got to have a time investment to be able to listen to them.
Like when it's powwow season and we're out there, I will sit and I will listen for hours. Because I'm planning. That's what I'm planning on doing. But in the middle of the day, recording a podcast, a 45-minute story about a kid who doesn't want to do anything and not grow up, it's not applicable.
Well, I don't know. Maybe at some point we will start a storytelling season or something, and just have different people come on and tell different stories.
Man, there's a bunch out there.
Yeah.
Bunch.
It falls right underneath the banner that we set this up for.
Yep.
I mean,
it is educational.
You can get members of different tribes. Just pick a subject like giants. Every tribe has a giant story.
Yeah.
Red-headed freaking giants. Excuse me. Every tribe has I don't know. I know Cherokee, we have a giant snake story.
I think most of them do. I mean, there's like the serpent mound. So,
snake dance.
Yeah, and I like the snake. The snake is the one that carved out the Appalachian Mountains. So yeah, you can just pick a topic. I'm pretty sure damn near all of the tribes.
Somebody's got a story. Yeah, the star people.
Yeah,
the star people. Every tribe has star people stories.
Yep. I don't know. We took a turn to the left. We were talking about little people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we always do take a turn.
Yeah, it seems like every time we get on with someone, we start off in one direction, and before you know it, we're going down the rabbit hole.
And that's cool. That's how I run my show too. We'll just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I just figure Spirit's in charge and guiding the whole thing, and we're just following along and getting the stories out there to people who might not have heard them before.
And I like that. And there's not enough people. There's not enough for the public consumption about little people. Of course, I mean we are told, and we just don't talk about it. But I'm okay talking about them in my own house because I had no boundaries. But it's not like I go out in the woods and talk to little people.
And I've been thinking too, like, isn't it time that, I mean, I know that we keep a lot of things, I don't know if secret's the right word, but we hold it close.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like now is the time, as we're going through on a grander scale, the ascension of the planet Earth. We're moving from the third dimension into the fifth dimension. We're blossoming, and we're combining, and we're bringing all of this great esoteric information out. But aren't these stories part of it? And isn't it time to start bringing them to a greater audience?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
know, it's
they're
time.
still gonna go ahead, Russ.
Well, I was gonna say it's time to shed light on some of these things that are going on that people are oblivious to.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So go ahead, Brandon.
Well, I was gonna say I think it is time. But I mean, we're still gonna keep some things close,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
but it's time. Like, when's the last time you heard anybody talk about the white buffalo calf lady that was born? What, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Now,
Way more than 10 years ago.
what?
Yeah.
Well, there was a white buffalo that was recently reborn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you may be right. It could have been longer than 10 years ago. But
Yeah, I was actually living in Janesville, Wisconsin, less than a mile from where Miracle, the white buffalo, was born. And my youngest child hadn't been even thought of yet, and he's 23. So it was probably 25 years ago, maybe.
And you know what? It could very well be.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've heard anybody talk about that.
Talk about the white buffalo calf
Yeah.
woman. Yeah. And that is a great story that needs to be shared. And yeah.
So yeah, I think now is the time to kind of get some of the stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just like you don't hear much about the story of the White Raven either anymore.
Right.
You know, that's
God,
actually
I haven't heard that story in a long time.
About a year and a half ago, Barnaby asked me to speak on it back when he had one of his other shows. And it just happened to be, you know, me and him out in the woods one day, and we're talking about things, and I kind of mentioned the story to him. And I was just like, can you speak about it today on this? Like,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
That
No
was
pressure.
another one of them stories that you have to condense down because it's so freaking long. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there's a lot of stories that, they're parables, basically. They're stories that teach lessons. And, it is time for, in my feeling, and this is just my opinion, I'm owning it. There are so many stories in so many different cultures that are teaching stories. They're parables. And to have those come out and to not just hear, the stories of one particular ethnic group or religious group or whatever, but have these stories are important, whether they're Native American, whether they're from the UK or Celtic, or whether they're from Africa or India or wherever. These stories are important and they teach the same lessons. And if we as the human race would just understand that we're all hearing the same stories in different ways, we're not that different. It's time for peace on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Totally.
So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. What do y'all got?
Did we mention the little people will kill you? Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of took me by surprise because I had not heard that.
Oh yeah, they'll kill you.
Nope.
Yeah, you might. Okay, so in case someone is tuning in late into this podcast, why would they kill you?
Because they're evil little. No, I'm just kidding.
They don't follow by the same rules that we do.
Yeah, they don't. Like they're huge on boundaries, and just you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. They'll come help you.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's the basic story. You leave them alone, and if you need something, they'll come help you. And if you just do right, basically they're little rednecks. Like, as long as you
said
leave them,
rednecks, not resnecks.
That's right. Yeah, I said right.
With a D, not a Z.
Yeah, rednecks. You leave them alone in their trailer park, and they'll leave you alone. But if you ever need anything, by God, they'll be there. See, rednecks.
Yeah,
little people are rednecks. I said it.
And is that the final word on little people? They're rednecks.
Boy, I hope somebody else says something after me because that I have a feeling I'm gonna die. Like a little person's just gonna look at me and go, "Call me redneck one more time, fat boy." You know, something like that.
You have to know you.
Yeah, right. You damn gnome. Go with the Fae and leave us little people alone.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
This has definitely been an educational hour. No, not quite an hour, but yeah, it's been educational for me. I don't know about the
Well,
rest
and
of
there's
you.
a book too. Like if you there's a chapter. There's a book called The Cherokee Medicine Man, and it's getting harder and harder to find. It's been out of print for a while, but there's a whole chapter on the little people, um, and it's a very good chapter. Matter of fact, I recommend that book to anybody. Um, but there's books here and there, kind of sparse about the little people.
Okay.
But I mean, there is info out there if you want it. You just gotta look for it.
That makes sense. There's info on pretty much everything if you're willing to look for it.
Well, let
Just
me
gotta
rephrase
dig.
that. Yeah, if you want the truth or
Yeah.
good true stories about people interacting with them, then you got to dig, or you got to drive to the res or the boundary
Right.
or whatever tribe you're on, and go ask. But if you're white, listen, I love all the viewers. But if you're white, don't just drive up to your res and start talking and asking questions because that could get dangerous too. And
Yeah.
I'm very serious when I say this. Don't just drive to the res and find somebody that lives there and start talking about little people. Like,
Yeah, no, they're not going to be accepting to you.
No.
I mean, half the res is already like it's hard to get on because we've been dicked over so much
Right.
that you know. So take your time, but if you have a friend on that reservation or whatever, then you can start asking, but do it respectfully. But we will talk about these stories, but you have to come correctly to us before we tell you the story of the boundary making little people. Because if you don't respect our boundaries, we're not going to tell you nothing.
And how would just, for educational purposes, how would someone correctly do that?
I mean, Rez, you want to answer this first, and then I'll answer it.
You come in with respect, honor, bring tobacco, offerings, and don't just come right out and say, "Hey, I'm here to learn about the little people." Start with small talk first, like kind of heard about this. I kind of like some more information. Can you point me in the right direction? So on and so forth.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with the tobacco thing too, because it it shows that you're coming with a good heart and you want to give. Um, and it's easy to get to people. People get wrapped around the axle about tobacco. What kind of tobacco do I get? Indian tobacco? Do I get the lapis? No, don't get the Indian tobacco. We smoke that for ceremonies. Just stop it. Like you can go get us one of them bags of American Spirit, the loose leaf. That's all
Mm-hmm.
you got to
Right.
do. Just something loose leaf and
Yeah.
bring the
Right.
tobacco.
If you know your buddy's a smoker, bring him this brand of cigarettes he smokes. Even it's
Mm-hmm.
tobacco.
Yep.
It's an offering. You don't have to be specific about it. When it comes to doing different kind of ceremonies and all that, and I offer tobacco, a lot of times I'll carry the bugler in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something special that I know I'm doing, then I'll go out and get a can of the American Spirit, all natural,
Yep.
because I know I'm going into a ceremony style and I want the purest form of it
Yep.
for that.
So I mean, yeah, definitely do not approach a native empty-handed. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't matter what's in your hand. Just like you, if if a native doesn't have something in his hand, there's a thing that stops him from saying thank you. Like we can't say thank you or anything without something in our hands to give. That's just
Yeah.
how we are. So if you approach with the same spirit of giving, then we'll open up. But you just don't walk into the res, especially on the tourist side. If you have a tourist side, and go, hey, I want to hear about little people. Don't do that.
No.
You're not going to get nowhere.
No, you won't. No,
What
you
you're
won't.
going to get is I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, you're
what
you're
the
in
hell
the
are you
wrong
talking
spot.
about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? You're we don't who little
Yeah.
people.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I have
Yeah,
no
Don't they
idea.
have their own show on A&E or
exactly, and that's how it. That's exactly the
Yep.
native, the native sense of humor.
Yeah, the native sense of
Yeah.
humor is very specific, and I don't always know how to explain that to people, but it is very specific, and it doesn't matter which coast you're on. It
Yep.
doesn't matter which state you're in or which reservation you're on. It's pretty similar across the board.
Yep.
It can be pretty rough to an outsider that
It
doesn't
can be, yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
well, it's just like same sense of humor as military. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, I maybe slightly different, but it's still gonna like,
it's that same realm.
yeah, like we're gonna try. We're joking with you, but we're gonna try to rip you apart while we're joking with you.
It's like it is in the hood too.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if you can take it, then and if you can take it, cool. But if you can take it and give it back, then yeah, you're coming over to the house for supper.
Yep.
Yeah. So that yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember, you can't be thin-skinned around us,
Mm-mm.
because our polite meter only goes so far, and then it comes out.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Ah, this was a fun
Wow.
show.
This is a fun
Right.
show. All right. So the little people, don't go after them. Leave them gifts.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Shiny, sweet,
Yep.
Cadbury eggs.
Cadbury eggs are good because they're both shiny and sweet.
Yep. Absolutely. Brandon, if someone wanted to get a hold of you to ask questions, find out about your events, how would they get a hold of you?
Smoke signal.
Smoke Signal. Awesome.
I am on.
Awesome.
I am on all of the socials. You can either go to what used to be my personal page. Just look up Brandon Cooper on Facebook.
Okay.
It's no longer my personal page because I don't know what Facebook did to it. It's like some sort of digital creation page now. Anyway, you
Yeah,
can find me
I don't know
there.
what any of that stuff is
I
anymore.
don't.
So.
I don't either. The Shaman Sundays. I host the show, a podcast every Sunday at 9 p.m. on the Supernatural Inc. Network.
Cool.
You can find Shaman Sundays on Facebook and YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel at Shaman Sundays, I have the back catalog of every episode that we air from Supernatural Inc. Network. So we have several different podcasts available. So
yeah,
yeah, check it
guys.
out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
guys, go check out his channel, man. Good stuff on there.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I've watched a lot on there, so if you're
Excellent.
watching it live, you might catch me commenting from time to time.
Yeah, he was on there last Sunday. Hung out the whole time. I mean, great. We had it, and it was a good Sunday. Was
Yes,
a
it was.
really good show. Y'all
It was
go back and check it out.
Awesome.
definitely.
Awesome. Rez, any last words of wisdom, or where do we find you?
Find me on Facebook off my page, my regular page, Bobby Resnick Calkins, or Resnick Inc. is another page, or you can reach out to us on the Red Road Paranormal page. Other than that, if you want to know what I'm doing in the cryptid and paranormal world, tune in to Cap's YouTube channel, and then or go to wisconsincaps.com. You can see all the different events that we're going out to and everything we do.
Awesome. I do want to make a small clarification on what you said. You said Resnick Inc. That is not incorporated. That
No?
is ink as in tattoos.
Yep,
INK.
INK.
Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
that I have one more to
Yeah.
promote. Why I forgot about Supernatural Inc.
Yeah, shame on you.
I know. So I'm also part of Supernatural Inc. Also INK because we were gonna start a tattoo parlor, but just never did.
Well, let's do it.
Hey man, I'm down. But
I'll come down there. I'm looking for a change.
dude, I love it. Oh, we build equipment. Build ghost boxes and ITC equipment. You can find us at Supernatural Inc. Paranormal.com. INK for the ink.
Awesome.
There we go.
All right. And to wind this whole thing up, you can find me at Kristina L. Bloom on Facebook. You can join my private group at Kristina Bloom Your Spiritual Advisor. Also on Facebook, I am Kristina Bloom SA on Instagram and Kristina Bloom 7 on TikTok. So you can find me all those places. You can leave me messages if you want to make a private appointment. I do private appointments for psychic readings, past life regressions, Akashic records, all that sort of thing. So you can find me there. And otherwise, it looks like in 2024, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota. So, and Wisconsin, obviously, since that's where I live. But I'll be all over the place. I'm booking into next November at this point for events. So you can find out what I'm doing by checking in with me in all those different places. And I want to say, Brandon, thank you very much for coming and sharing your stories. And
Of course.
it's always a fun conversation.
I enjoyed it. Awesome.
So did I.
Awesome. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your day or whatever you're doing. And we'll catch you next time on the Red Road Paranormal. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.